The Divine Constitution for Moorish America. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Moorish America are empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended into his father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed by all citizens and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and the Constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality, their divine creed, and that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they're not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted into 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America. And then you are entitled to the name faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and take after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father Allah. Islam. Up of the prayer.
No. Allah, two on your right. Allah,
Allah,
the Father of the universe,
the Father of the universe,
the Father of love,
the Father of love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
peace,
freedom and justice.
freedom and justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my guide,
my guide,
my salvation,
my salvation,
by night and by day,
by night and by day,
through his holy prophet,
through his holy prophet,
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Amen.
Amen. Islam. Empress, whenever you're ready, you can go into chapter 3.
Okay. Chapter 3, from the Holy Prophet, the Quran, Circle 7. Eluhu's lessons, the unity of life. Again, Elihu met his pupils in the sacred grove and said, "No man live unto himself, for every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will love and not demand love in return. They will not do tanter. Oh no, hold on, wait, where am I? Oh, I'm sorry. They will not do to other men what they would not have other men do unto them. They are two selves, the higher and lower self. The higher self is human spirit, clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires is the reflection of higher self, distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. The lower self is an illusion and will pass away. The higher self is Allah in man, and he will not pass away. The higher self is the embodiment of truth. Said that right. Of truth. The lower self is truth reversed, and so is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms the higher self is mother of the virtues of the harmonies of life. The lower self is rich in promises, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell. Their cores are full of bitterness and gall. If you would ask me what to study, I would say yourselves, and you will have studied them. And then would ask me what to study next, I would reply yourselves. He who knows well his lower self knows the illusions of the world, knows of the things that pass away, and he who knows his higher self knows Allah, knows well the things that cannot pass away. Thrice blessed is the man who has made purity and love his very own. He has been ransomed from the perils of the lower self and is himself his higher self. Men seek salvation from an evil that deems a living monster of neither world, and they have gods that are but demons in disguise, all powerful, yet full of jealousy and hate and lust, whose favors must be bought with costly sacrifice of fruits and of the lives of birds and animals and humankind. And yet these gods possesses no ears to hear, no eyes to see, no heart to sympathize, no power to save. This evil is a myth. These gods are made of air and clothed with the shadow of a thought. The only devil from which man must be redeemed is self, the lower self. If man would find his devil, he must look within. His name is self. If man would find his savior, he must look within. And when the demon self has been dethroned, the savior, love, will be exalted to the throne of power. The David of the light is purity, who slays the strong, Goliath of the dark, and seats the savior, love, upon the throne. Islam.
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 All right. Got a lot going on over here. Couple new members. Trying to figure out the address, so kind of bear with me here. Okay, so picking up where we left off with esoteric astrology, dealing with the chapter of cosmic music. In the book of Dizan, or Dizyan rather, it has been mentioned that the father-mother spin a web whose upper end is fastened to spirit, the light of the one darkness, and the lower one to which shadowy end, the matter. And this web is the universe. Astrologically speaking, the sun symbolizes father and the moon, mother, and in between these two planets, all others are placed. Indeed, the sun and the moon are the father and the mother, light and the substance from which the universe is evolved. How these planets affect the microcosmic evolution is a mystery known only to adepts. During the present age, when the relationship between the vital energy, prana, flowing from the sun, and the various force centers, chakras, situated in the human body is being gradually known, it is possible to speculate on the influence of these planets on the rise and fall of human civilizations. After all, it is through the modifications of the human temperament that the social order is changed. An American clairvoyant, Dr. Ernest Wood, classified the 7 primary temperaments of man under 3 aspects of divinity, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Persons who are mostly concerned with the subjectivity of manifestation are grouped under Brahma. So when we're dealing with subjectivity, we're dealing with your rationale based on personal thoughts. Subjectivity of manifestation are grouped under Brahma. So that would be Brahma aspects. Those who are concerned with objective aspects are classified under Vishnu. So objective is being unbiased. You're just kind of looking at the facts and you're just doing a measure. That's under the Vishnu energy. And Lord Shiva produces the synthesis of all. So Lord Shiva balances both the subjective and the objective. Under the first 2 categories, further classification is made according to the predominance of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. These 3 on the subjective plane are expressed through the sun, moon, and Mercury, and on the objective plane by Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. The function of Venus is to create harmony. So the function of Venus is to create harmony. That's in our national flag, FYI, whoever didn't know that. The green star represents Venus. Dealing with harmony, balance, Maya. A synthesis between materiality and spirituality, between the subjective and the objective aspects of life. As a result, this interaction between the various principles of creation, the 7 human temperaments result, and consequently, with different emphasis on different temperaments during various phases of human history, the rise and fall of different human civilizations are explained. Right, so the rise and fall of civilizations were based on temperament, subjectiveness, and objectiveness. or some of our people that were more on one side than the other and not too balanced, right? The table given on the following page gives the different planets with their influence on human temperaments and civilization pattern. This table, however, should be considered merely suggestive. The course of human civilization has been marked out by different planets. Professor C.E.M. Jald and others have considered the course of human history as a pattern of ever-rising spiral progress. But the astrological interpretation of the microcosm throws interesting light on this conception of cyclic progress. Islam. The Polarian and the Hyperborean races of the Eocene and Oligocene ages, which existed between 60 to 38 million years ago, contain no bone skeleton. Their vehicle of consciousness, astral ether, and ether bodies appeared very much like the aggregate clouds of the ethereal matter, somewhat resembling puffs of smoke floating in a heavy atmosphere, as if a dream is consecrized. The changeable and plastic nature of the moon was reflected in the very constitution of these races. In the first two sub-races of every civilization, the lunar characteristics are reflected in the pronounced stately ceremonial unrivaled for their splendor. When the Mycenaean age, about 25 million years ago, there was a differentiation between male and female principles of creation. The development of strong emotions and fiery nature of man became pronounced. That was the period when Mars ruled the civilization. It was at this period that great upheavals took place. Easter Island, which belonged to this period, had their volcanic beginning. It was at this period that the man became a physical entity, and his preoccupations with fire increased. Prometheus stole fire from heaven under the influence of Mars. The analytical mind, selfish and self-centered races comprising mostly, and this was interesting to me, remember this author, this is just a neutral author. He states that the self-centered races comprising mostly Chinese, Japanese, and he's using the term North Indian Americans, which we already know are Moors, which developed subsequently were ruled by Mercury. These races had their logical nature accentuated. They distinguished between different types of social relationship. Every shade of officialdom was defined by etiquette. The Aryan race, which we now know the Aryan race, we're clear on the Aryan race now, right? Us. The Aryan race, with its universal concepts of the true, the good, and the beautiful, is ruled by Jupiter. The social order, the recognition of Antakarana. So let me, before I move on, let's dissect what that means. So when we're dealing with Antakarana, we're dealing with the language of Sanskrit, which we know is Hindu, for our brothers and sisters that were in the Mauryan dynasty, spoke primarily. It is a concept of Hindu philosophy referring to the totality of the mind, including the thinking faculty, the senses, the sense of I-ness or oneness, the discriminating faculty. Ata means inner, right? So Ata means inner, and we know Sufi means inner. So just so everybody can get a full context, things are traditionally the same, just kind of, there might be a different word, but don't let that throw you off. All about the inner, within. Man, know thyself, right? Noble Drew Ali says, know thyself. It's all the same principles. Karana means instrument. So we're dealing with inner instrument or function. Therefore, the word antakarana can be understood as inner organ, inner functions, or the inner instrument, right? All right, so let's go back to the reading. Now that we know what antakarana means. So the social order, the recognition of Antakarana and the symphonic or symphony music as distinguished from melody express the synthetic nature of the planet Jupiter. The European and most of the Indian people are influenced by Jupiter. This from the author's perspective. The future civilization is said to be growing in the United States of America. The life that the American people live and the initiative that they show in world affairs, the creative urge for new ideas and for evolving a comprehensive philosophy of life in which a synthesis of science, philosophy, and religion is attempted to indicate that Venus has started taking sway of the future course of events. So if Venus is taking sway of the future course of events, I find that heavy. Back to the flag. Back to the flag, right? Right? So that means love is taking over the future event, right? Right? That vibration. That's what's going to save everybody.
The highest vibration.
The highest vibration, right? To sum up, the influence of planets is far-reaching. This distant orbs of divine energy influence every atom of existence, and they radiate different forces based on the principle of cosmic ideation. So just so we're clear on ideation. I know these. So let's go to ideation. So ideation is the creative process of generating, developing, and communicating new ideas, where an idea is understood as a basic element of thought that can be either visual, concrete, or abstract. Right. Right. So let's go back to the reading.
What is it?
Ideation.
Allah.
Allah is basically Allah.
Is it ideation?
Spell I. Yeah, it could be. That could be the right spelling. It's IDEATION.
But like,
Ideation, right? Could be ideation. We can roll with that.
yeah.
Hey, but that's what we know. We know the definition, right?
Yeah.
We got the idea.
Right. To sum up, the influence of planets is far-reaching. These distant orbs of divine energy influence every atom of existence, and they radiate different forces based on the principle of cosmic ideation, which has a perfect order. These 7 planets are like the 7 notes of music on which the cosmic mind plays its infinite tune. To know them is to operate with them. So man,
Well, all the laws of the universe.
all the laws of the universe, know all the law, know Allah. So just a quick, but this next chapter gonna be heat too. Astrological meaning of death. I ain't even read that yet, but it gotta be some heat. All right, so we have table of basic influence of planets. So we're dealing with the sun, the driving impulse is will and force, the human temperament, dealing with power and administration, planes of existence and civilization pattern, divine. Dealing with Saturn, we're dealing with asceticism, and that's spelled ASCETICISM. So let's look at what asceticism is. So asceticism, yes, is dealing with Saturn, right? So Saturn, essentially asceticism is severe self-discipline and avoidance of all forms of indulgence, typically for religious reasons. So, and Saturn is dealing with, right, discipline. So that makes sense, right? All right. So the human temperament of Saturn is wisdom born out of uphill struggle. So if a wisdom is born out of struggle, that is back to that, you must go through something challenging and learn from it. And your bounce back game, how do you bounce back from a situation? Right,
Experience.
experience.
Mhm.
So now you're better, you can move different and better based on the mistakes or what you learn from them, right?
To reference what we read on Wednesday, our Wednesday reading was more talking about how we can control the karmic response
Right,
by being in tune with that. You can control that negative karma because you are balanced now. So this is we have that type of temperament. We have a lot of temperament. Moving through as we know what's gonna, what's going on, we can actually improve and change it, bro.
Mhm.
And so this is all related to that.
Wow.
It makes me think about Nimrod and the videos.
Mhm.
And all of the cities that Nimrod had control, they failed. And the Hebrews specifically pointed out imbalances in how they ran society.
Right,
Why they did.
right. It's the correlation you see is there, right? I'm just now looking at the chat, as far as the divine warning. We can go into that as well. Who just came in here? Let me see. Islam to Salim, Islam to Empress Shuja.
Islam, no, part of self, part of self, Islam.
We read chapter 3, so you good for right now. You just resume.
His Empress did a beautiful job. No, I heard Islam. And that's my favorite chapter. That last part was the best. She said the savior of you look for it in yourself, the devil, you look for your devils in yourself, the savior in yourself. I love that. It's like my favorite part of the whole Quran. But Islam to Empress, yes, I love that. I love that chapter, man. Powerful chapter.
Islam. All right, so we just covered Saturn dealing with asceticism, and we looked up asceticism. We're dealing with discipline, right? The human temperament, wisdom born out of uphill struggle, love aroused by suffering, and brotherhood born as a result of renunciation. So brotherhood ties, love, the love vibration should get even tighter after a turbulent situation. Supposed to bring people together even tighter. Planes of existence and civilization pattern, atomic. Venus, urge to create. So the driving impulse of Venus is the urge to want to create. The human temperament dealing with Venus, creative power, fine arts, comprehension, and philosophy of life. Planes of existence and civilization pattern, intuitive and Buddhic, root word Buddha, Buddhic. Esoteric astrology by Bepin Bihari. Transition into Jupiter, driving impulse, conscience, human temperament dealing with harmony, morality, philanthropy, expression of inner potentiality in outer form, wisdom and synthesis. Plane of existence and civilization pattern, higher mind, which enables abstract reasoning. The Aryan civilization was guided by Jupiter. Transitioning to Mercury, driving impulse as intellect. Power of Mercury is dealing with intellectual energy. The human temperament, friendship, scientific pursuits, and logical thinking. So most people that rule the planet, Mercury, they're going to be very logical, not too emotional, more on the logical side. So once again, especially when we're in a body politic and everybody got different signs, it's good for us not to only know ourselves, but know the temperament of the people around us. so we can become an assistant. You know what I mean? Planes of existence in civilization dealing with Mercury, dealing with lower mind, which enables concrete thought processes. The Atlantean civilization, root word Atlantis. Transitioning to Mars, driving impulse, fiery enthusiasm, human temperament, one pointed devotion, courage, endurance, power of practical execution, and impulsiveness, being impulsive. Planes of existence and civilization pattern, emotional plane, the Lemurian civilization. So transitioning to the moon, the driving impulse, dreamy vision, human temperament, imagination, religiosity, mediumship, and psychicism. Planes of existence and civilization pattern, ordered splendor, the Hyperborean and Polarian civilizations.
Does it read the temperament of the moon?
The human temperament for the moon is imagination, religiosity, mediumship, and psychicism.
Oh, okay.
And that's, the houses in the moon.
This is dealing with the planet energy of itself. Just with that, yeah.
So basically, it's just if you are, you can do your charts, your ruling planet, you
Mhm.
know that this is your vibration. That's your ruling
Right,
planet.
that's your ruling planet. That's your vibration.
The majority of it.
Islam. I don't know. Did you want to read the divine wording, or you were just kind of bringing it up? Let me bring up the divine warning. Once again, our Nur, did you want to read the divine warning, or were you just bringing it up? Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not.
I had brought it up because I figured you was going you was just starting class and everything. So, but no, you good. Go ahead.
All right. A divine warning by the prophet for the nations. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that allude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to that state of mind of their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish divine and national movement which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that make a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people and I desire their unity and mind back to their own national and divine standard, because day by day, they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. And in all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principle, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word color deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon the earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizen of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized. Okay, through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendment brought the North and South in unit, placed the Southerners who were at that time without power with constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was enforced in 1774 declared all men free and equal. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of our people and citizens. So there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by my citizens, by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come, because the great God Allah, the great God of the universe, is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people. And this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. And I, the prophet, do hereby believe that this administration of the government being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good, but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin, which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way. And without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to the human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South, and I have examined conditions there. And it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things that bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness to the marvelous light from the prophet, Islam.
Islam.
So the brother Imani has created he took the initiative to create a test. Oh, you got them, you got all the tests, you passed them out already? Some of the physical members that are here, I'm gonna pass them out. Just show some integrity and don't look up the questions, just see what you got on the spot. And then I'm gonna email it to everybody else. Go ahead and take the test. Print it out, take a picture of it, and you can get it back to me. Once again, just show integrity. If you don't know it, you don't know it. We're trying to test and see where everybody at, dealing with essentially civics demonstration. Any thoughts? Questions, concerns? And also put in the minutes, we have a board meeting Monday at 7 o'clock. Any thoughts from anybody on anything, concerns, miscellaneous questions? Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
You on your hand? That's a pencil, okay. Stretch Armstrong. All right. Now you can take those home, and then, like I say, Wednesday, try to have the test filled out by Wednesday. You take a picture, send it to me, and we'll go from there. Yeah, go off the top. Yeah, see what you got. Don't be ashamed if you don't know nothing. It is what it is. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like any curriculum. You go to college campus, high school, you're gonna go through some lessons, you're gonna take a test to kind of assess where you at. You know what I mean? Nothing different. You know, we'll take this as serious as we was taking high school and college. Right. There's something we care about now, right? So it should be more motivational factor. All right.
So you sent it through the email?
I'm gonna send it after the meeting's over. I'm gonna blast it out.
Okay.
Yeah. It's questions revolving around the civics, you know, stuff like that. Did you want to do your dissertation today, or did Celine?
Oh, Islam. Yeah, I could, absolutely.
Okay, that'd be a cool little closeout for today. Yeah, whenever you're ready, you got the floor, brother.
Islam, okay. So, my dissertation of the Morse Tactical, prepared by Grand Sheik Mafiel. Yeah, so just to give a in the sense of a dissertation, a brief overview, if somebody who didn't know anything about Morse science or anything about our movement, if I was to give them, a brief of Morse Tactical, I tell them I start off by letting them know it starts off with a general understanding of that history that was given us was completely kind of rearranged, turned around, and distorted based on the fact that not only were we not actually the ones that were on boats that came over here as slaves, but it was in actuality the hybrid Albions who were the ones who, in fact, in large quantities and masses were excuse me, they were actually enslaved in the places that they were from. In the sense of the word Slavics, the actual term was a name for their nationality. They were Slavics, they were slaves to the extent where that's where they were from. And then the term kidnapping was actually a thing that was did to them as slaves, Slavs from wherever they was from, Europe, Russia, in these places. So them as, Irish and these Albion hybrid type of Caucasian, supposedly Caucasian looking people. These people were the ones that were actually shipped over here in numbers. And the Moorish pirates were basically charging them. They were taxing these people. They was charging them. I forgot the exact word, but they had to pay. They had to pay treaty ties and dues to the Moroccan Empire. And the Sultan, which was over a president or anything we think of a high stature, the George Washington character, who we think was the first president, was actually writing letters and telling them sorry and apologizing for not paying the money when they were supposed to. So basically, this beginning of the book breaks down real quickly that everything in history was turned around and distorted, and then it goes into the consular notification to the extent where when you really break down the laws and they tell you about human beings and property and who we are as wards of the state, we're considered, their livestock, and we're considered the backing for their de facto bankrupt corporation. So from the consular notice to what's the other part? When it comes to the treaties and the Constitution, Morse Tactical breaks down how we're really supposed to declare our nationality, proclaim who we are, and become human beings and living live people who can stand up and take back the republic in the sense of us being nationals of the land of North, South, Central America, of the Moroccan Empire. So through the consular notification, the Constitution, the treaties, and us knowing the indigenous rights of human beings, we can become the American Moors, the Moorish nationals, the Moorish Americans that we need to be to get back into proper. From this actual Islam. I yield the floor.
Wow. Good job, man. Appreciate you. Islam. Any other thoughts, comments, concerns on the curriculum today, or just in general on the Zoom or here physically? Questions?
One thought for like a quiz kind of thing,
Mhm.
and just like I feel like with the collective and everything, everybody throws something into the pot, it make it way easier, you know? But if everybody can come up with a situation,
What do you mean by throwing a pot, like a question for a test?
basically.
Okay.
Right, but like, you know how, you know, when you're doing a quiz or something like that, they had the few, at the end of the exam, you know, like, situation. So you had this many, this, you know, whatever, an example kind of question. But if everybody can come up with an example, okay, you're dealing with the law, they see you have a license plate, you don't have a license plate, what it is that you say, you know, what article it is that you reference, you know, what it is that you tell them, or, you know, what things that you say, you know. And if we have like a database of situations and circumstances and stuff like that, and everybody constantly drills them, you know, you got a team full of consular officers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of everybody just being like, okay, yeah, all out. Like everybody knows what's up and everybody
Right.
constantly putting it into themselves. So it's like, we got no choice but to be confident. If you know what I mean?
Right.
We,
Right.
I know for me personally, the reason why I want to do it is like you could get the knowledge all day long. You could read it and what's called until you act it out, until you really, really and truly get into it. It's not, you know, for some people. Some
Right.
people can read it. And be like, me, I need to do that.
You actually apply what you learn.
Fast.
Right.
But don't apply, it's just something.
Do they get all nervous and stuff, you know, when you're actually like when you're in it, it's like, you know,
I got pulled over a month ago and I was just like, damn.
what I learned.
You know what I'm saying?